Wow, feast your eyes on this gem. I don't even know what it is or what year. Can't tell. But it needs some service. Let's see. The hull is all scratched up. And I think there's actually a hole in it on the bottom somewhere. Up there, yeah. Can you see anything? Maybe it's fine. Let's have a look inside under the hood. Actually, I can tip this up. It's been sitting outside for a while for sure. Some leaves. Ah, stinks too. Let's see what it looks like in here. Seats are toast, so they've definitely been out in the sun for a long time. What? Look at this nest here. That's brutal. That's got to be vacuumed out. Nice. And this seat here. Oh yeah. That's not bolted on. He said he thought the engine was taken apart. Thought. What's going on here? Supercharger. We got a computer up there. Oh. Can't tell if that's milky or not. The whole dipstick came out. Like the holder. Oh. Yeah, it's definitely been disassembled. Cool. We got some stuff to do. Just for clarity, got this cleaned up to the point where I could kind of see the serial number. It's a 2003 supercharged GTX. Is that right? Yeah. Anyway, this is kind of funny. I looked in the compartment after cleaning out all the stuff that was piled up on top of the engine. This engine's completely disconnected. the engine mount is pulled out. Every pipe, every wire's been disconnected. I think I can just put a chain on this and pull the motor right out. That was a good one. He wasn't sure if the engine had been worked on or not. That's kind of curious. Anyway, I'm going to throw a chain on it, pull that out of there, and we'll have a look at what's going on. The other funny thing I just noticed too is I was going to pull the pump off so I could pull the engine out, pull the drive shaft out. There's no drive shaft in here either. Man, I don't think we'll be taking this for a spin anytime soon. But actually I knew that that wasn't going to happen. I was looking for parts, so I knew that this was never going to go back in the water. There's a giant hole in the bottom. Okay, now we can pull that motor out of there and see what's going on. And here we go. That thing is just floating in there. I don't know how this is going to come out or whether I got to take more stuff off. or how heavy it is. Is that whole exhaust side got to come off? Guessing. That's a lot of weight on there. I want to get that down by the ground as soon as I can. Creak. Look at more oil. Where is this thing leaking? So much oil and water. Now, I don't know anything about these engines. Flashlight. That was one of the oil spills I had right there. This thing is leaking out of here. Is that interesting? All right, let's get it on the ground. Man, those things are a lot heavier than the two-stroke. What's going to hold it from falling over? Nothing. All right. All right, with the engine out, I'm going to hook up the battery and just to see if what's working, any gauges, anything. Yeah, gauges. What? Does this have trim? No trim. Well, that's kind of what I wanted to see, but at least I know that the gauges do work and the computer is working, and I heard the fuel pump kick on. Let's try it again. Learner key. And all the sensors, you're going to get all the errors because all the sensors and everything are unplugged, but man, that's cool. So all that stuff works. Just going to fire up the Seadoo Pro, see what we can read on the computer, just to be sure that it's readable. There we go. 148 hours. Yeah, everything's all disconnected, but I'm just curious that we can actually read it. Huh. Lots of faults. keys, got a few keys in it. Huh. There's nothing to activate. Fuel pump only. Fuel pressure relief. Oh. Get some things out of the way. Oh. That's how that works. Ah. Well, that's too easy. That's gold right there. Oh, there's plugs everywhere. Throttle cable disconnected. Ooh, what's this? Oh, fuel. What's that? Yeah, fresh fuel. Ooh, down to one plug, I think. Man, they just mount everything on here. Nice and neat. Guess I didn't need to take that one plug off. Well, I just got a call and someone wants to buy the computer and they want to see how many hours and see the gauge is working. So now that I got everything ripped out, I got to plunk all the stuff back in, re-hook up the battery, and test it out. So let me do that. I unplugged the gauge too. It wasn't working. I was like, what? See if we can get through any of the modes. Or is it going to cycle through all the issues first? Just sprayed gas all inside the engine compartment. Sweet. Mode, hours, 148.6. Okay, that's what they wanted. Here's my experience so far with these 4-strokes. Oil leaking, gas all over the floor. Oh my. You got a hole in the hull, everything that goes in there goes out and on the floor. And then I move it around and forget and make another mess. So keep that in mind. These things are messy. Anyway, I got to get this hood off. Somebody wants to buy that and I got to wash it all up. So let's see if we can get it off. So the approach will be, we're going to pull this pin off here and leave that loose, but leave the shock connected so it holds the lid up, or the hood. If I can get this pin off of here. Has that got 2 little holes? I see. Let me get a pair of pliers. Nope, got nothing that's small enough. So, see if I can push it off. Probably can't see. Wow. Gone. Now we can undo the hood. Jeez. It's like all around poor access. Guess I'll take it from there. And I got to take it from here. No, I got to take it from up here, I think. Because you can't get at the hinge. Let me reassess this before I get too deep. I don't know, maybe. Let's try it. Again, I'm not keeping the hull because it's destroyed, so. Stuck. Oh, won't even move. Probably the tension from the spring. Oh, yeah, I can feel something going. Okay, now don't want to hurt the nose. Now we can get at these, or I can take the bolt out from here. This bolt, look what just flew out. Feeling loosey-goosey now. Drill. Dang. That rod won't come out. Okay. Not done with the most of finesse, but the ultimate goal was achieved. Sweet. I just unclip the shock. Just pull that back, stick a screwdriver in there, pull it out, and it pops right off. We got her. Here's another thing I thought was kind of crazy. We always have trouble finding the rectifiers on these things. And after you pull out all these pins, what is there, 5, 10, 15 pins, something like that? Get the cover down. There it is there. How the heck would you ever find that? Anyway, interesting tidbit. Okay, we're up on the bench here. I want to pull the gauges out, and I don't want to wreck this thing. So I'm just going to see if we can possibly take it out this way. and clipped in here, so you can't go forward or back. Actually, when I look at it again, this is hooked in here, so the black has to go that way, and same up here. That moved. Maybe? Maybe? Holy crap. Really? Wow. Jeez Louise. The stuff that's coming out of this thing is unbelievable. As soon as I get this gauge out of here, there's like a vent here. I'm gonna wash this thing out. Okay, pulled that nest out of there. What I don't know is which way the gauge comes out. Does it go forward or back? It doesn't want to move. The other machines, we push the gauge in from the outside. She's pretty stuck. Maybe not. Oh, baby! So that's how you do it. Sweet! Now I'll clean that up and put it back together. All right, over to the engine. I want to check out see if that thing is seized. That was in the first plug hole, second, third, and we got some water on there. So I want to roll it over, see what happens. I pop the starter back on, plugs are out, supercharger's off, sitting on the bench. So let's roll it over and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Either it's gonna do something or nothing. Wow. I think it is seized. Dang it. I guess we can rip this thing all apart. We're gonna learn. No, it's moving. It's rolling. It was moving. Maybe I need better wires then. Cool. All right, better setup now. It's another day. So let's see if it rolls over this time. Oh. Sounded like it went and then it stopped. I don't know if that's rolling over or not. Seems to do something and stop. I think this is going to be a full tear down. I wonder if we can see. What's happening? Something going on, eh? The starter kicks out. So what does that mean? I don't know. What? That starter's pretty toasty too. Huh. All right, food for thought. All right, we're up on the bench. I'm gonna take a few things off to see, better analyze this thing. I'm like a kindergarten kid here now. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with this stuff. But we're gonna figure it out, I think. Or at least see what's going on. I got a couple of guys that are looking for parts, but I can't tell the condition of the engine. These cutters work great. Cut. That one's off. Makes little razors though. Another one there. Okay, let's see if we can get some of these hoses off. It's going to be a bunch of pulling and prying here. Ooh, there's a clamp. Amazing how the hoses get stuck like that. I don't know if there's coolant in there or not. There's one. Bottle's been in my way since I started looking at this thing. Not anymore. All right, now we can take a look at that water pump coming off, I guess. Really? And coolant. It's good to see that there is fluids in the thing. Whoa, those are big. A little bit of something there. I don't know what that is. Oh, mud dauber. This thing's been in a field for a while. Oh, no crud. Okay, that's done. And more goodies. More clamps. A lot more to the liquid cooled 4-stroke machines, that's for sure. Is that it? Just the one? Guess I could take this off of here, or do we need to? We need to. Let's pull this off. That's the oil filler. That's that tops valve. I don't know if that's a oil level sensor. I don't know. Let's take it off. Yep. Oh, there comes some stuff. This 2-stroke business, oh my, or 4-stroke, oh my God, what a mess. I drained the oil, I pumped the oil. There's still oil. Let's get a tray. These things, they're supposed to be cleaner? I don't know. Valve. Okay. Okay, sorry. Let's take the top cover off. See if there's anything to be seen. See what we got? Something fell. A bolt. I don't know where that one came from. Everything looks okay from the top here. Just doing a scan. See if there's anything obvious. I think I might have to change something on my 2017 machine. I got oil around the spark plug and they were saying that there's some sort of rubber seal on these. You guys see anything? I don't see any bad things. Huh, let's take the top off. I guess we gotta take this sensor off. I don't know what that does. Who cares? Let's get rid of it. That's on there good. This one is independent of the other one. Looks like a crank position sensor, but wouldn't that be down? Or is that a temperature sensor? I don't know what the heck it is. We'll figure it out. This is, I think, is just a cover to give us access to take the front gear off. Got to take the tensioner off the cam chain. Nope. Yep. Let's see. Is that kind of watery? And some big bolts. Oh yeah. They are definitely on there. I think that was 10 million. Okay. Now there's two bolts down there that want to fall down into the engine. Take those two out and then keep going. Wrong pliers. There's a trick to it. I don't like this. Let me get one out. That's it. That's brutal. Looking at the cam wheel, there's a magnet right there. That's where that sensor was. So that's what's triggering the sensor. So I don't know, is that for our timing? Maybe. Pull out the chain guide carefully. No problems there. And we'll pull the bolts out, holding the gear on. What's going to stop that from falling? We don't know. All right, I've never done this before, so let's see what happens when we pull the gear off. Got something here to hold the chain. Gear is out. Good. For now, is that everything? Anything else holding that head on? Don't think so. Do they have pry areas is the next question. I don't see anything. Gotta find somewhere to pry up on it. I think that's it. Now when I pull that off, then I got to hold the chain again, right? Or can I just let it drop down? Or is the purpose of this only when the head is on because it's too hard to reach? See if we can lift this off. Hopefully nothing else is connected. Okay, now we see what's going on. That one doesn't look nice at all. Oh, doesn't look horrible. No scoring there. No scoring here. Wonder if we can get this to roll over now. Nothing. But now I got the chain off. So now how do we roll this engine over? I got to take the whole front housing off, I would assume. Why don't we do that? Guess I got to pull the front engine mounts off. And the one on the other side too. 4 bolts. Good. Now we should be able to pull this front part off. I'm assuming that's this, yeah, stator cover. I would curious to see how that drives the water pump. I wonder if we got 10 million parts about to fall out here. This thing is just hemorrhaging oil from everywhere. Okay. Where does it separate? Right up here. Look at the oil running out of this thing. Holy cow. Am I gonna have a mess or what? I have pumped and pumped and pumped the oil out of this thing from everywhere I can find. It's gonna go on the floor. I gotta stop it. Please stop. She's leaking from everywhere. So that's after pumping from the dipstick off the end still. I mean, this is brutal. At some point, I guess it'll stop. Be somewhat under control? I think so. What a freaking mess. So this thing's full of oil too. Is that just the magnet? Yes. And that's the stator housing. Wow. She's a mess, boys. So as you can see, I put the head back on. I wanted to see if I was able to time it. Then I realized that there's a rod that goes in here that locks the crank at top dead center on the number 1. And also there's a rod that goes in up here that locks the cam where you want it to be. Anyway, I did it manually. I put a different rod down in there, got it timed right on. But then when I went to roll it over, I realized the starter was getting hotter and hotter, and it could barely roll it over, even with the plugs out, because of the resistance on this valve springs. And then it quit altogether. So I think the reason why this thing wouldn't roll over was the starter was bad, because I've seen no other evidence of any other damage on that engine. Everything else is just fine. So anyway, I guess the reason why they disconnected the motor and pulled it out at one time was to rebuild the hull, because the hole in the hull was way too hard. You obviously had to move the engine out to repair it, and I guess they felt that it was more than they wanted to get into, because the damage was pretty bad. So I did order another starter, because I'd like to crank this over and at least check compression before we offer to sell it to anybody that needs it. So now I wait till the new starter comes in. For me, it'll be a week. For you, it'll be seconds. All right, things have changed a little bit. Bought a stand, had to cut some aluminum pipe to get the right offset, and I put a new starter on. When I put the head back on, because that guy wants me to check the compression, and I tried timing it, there's timing marks that say 1503, but also at each 90-degree point on this wheel has timing marks, but they don't say 1503. So I have this mistimed, and we can tell because when those are there, you should be able to see that little indent down in that hole, and I don't. And that's what the locking pins are for. And so now I've got to loosen this chain off, probably take it right off, and rotate the engine until that pin is right, the hole in there is right in the center. So yeah, that's the plan. And then I can check compression. And chain tensioner coming out. Oh, she's in tight. Really? Drop the washer. And there's more parts in there. That's it right there. And the guide, chain guide out, that'll loosen everything up nicely. But probably not enough. You're gonna have to take that gear off. Yep. Drop bolts down in the engine, stainless steel. Drop the chain. Now we'll get the bottom end where we want it. And I know we got to be close. Can I see by looking down the cylinder? The chain gets jammed too. There it is. Now, let me see if I can show you. Right down inside, you can see that. Looks like it's been drilled out. That's where that's supposed to go. Okay, let's start putting things back together. Just shove that pin in there because I don't have the locking pin. You can see, so I'll leave that right centered. Perfect. Next thing you need to have is the cam has to be rotated in the proper orientation too. So there's 3 holes, and this hole has to be at like, whatever, 11 o'clock position. And then the 2 on the bottom. If that's rotated, then your gear won't be aligned properly. And that would be set when you lock that pin in the top, which I also don't have. So we're doing it the manual way. So here's the gear. Check it out. Flat line there, 2 lines there. So that's where I got messed up last time. And I think I put it on, whatever I did, the cam was rotated wrong, but you need it on the 1503. So let's see if we can get this on in proper alignment. If I drop the chain, I got the front cover off anyway, so. That is not even close. Pretty close. Let's go with that. Gears bolted back on. Chain guide. Tensioner. This is all coming apart again too because I got to take the head off and clean all the valves, but I just kind of wanted to try timing and all that stuff to get everything figured out before I get into it deep. That's the wrong size. Still slightly off though with the tensioner on, but I go the other way and it goes that much the other way. When it comes to our final assembly, I think I'll dial that in, but we'll know in our compression check if something's wrong. Just gonna put this cover back on so it holds the Bendix. Washers cut together. Cedar, bolting floor. Something pushing? Or something aligned? A lot of pull on that too. Huh. Not forcing it. I'm guessing that one of these bolts, oh, I know what it is. Water pump alignment. Ha! See, learning. Go. Okay, just do a quick crank over. I guess we'll straighten up the motor. The one thing I don't like about this stand is the handle doesn't stay in and it wants to slip out of your hand, and that's bad. All right, let's just see if it does a quick crank over without nasties. Let's check compression. See if we get anything. $100. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but we're going to check it out. This is a new gauge. That starter Bendix is kicking out again with the new starter even. Three different readings. Would that suggest that our timing is off? I don't know. I think I already know the issue. Okay. So, the reason why I said I wasn't going to bolt everything down was because I needed to clean the valves. And looking in there, you can see the crusties. Middle one is pretty good, and this one was kind of ugly. So obviously this one's sealing, those two are not, and until I clean the valves, we're not going to get anywhere anyway. But that was successful. At least I got the new starter, cranks over. I still don't know why when you have high compression, the starter kicks out. So, I guess one thing at a time. I need to wait till I get the part now that removes the, or compresses the springs. So, let me think. Here's another thing I'm looking at. In the manual, you got your 3 screws and on the gear, and you see that little open lobe at the top is pointed up with the 1503s. And on this one, 1503s are on the top, and the lobe is down here on the bottom. So clearly, I need to do some more research and figure out what's happening here. But I mean, the valves are so rusty in there, you wouldn't think that you get any kind of compression at all. The middle one seems to be not too bad. It's just a tiny bit of surface rust in there. So I think we're going to end this video here. I need some more education and I need some parts. I got to take this back off again and we'll clean the valves up. Then we'll check compression. Then we'll figure out what we're going to do. So anyway, in the meantime, I appreciate you watching. Don't use anything that I'm doing here as fact. I'm just trying to figure these things out.